Why is it that you can play a video game for 6 hours straight, grinding against the same boss until you want to throw your controller through the wall? Yet, writing a single 3-paragraph email feels like physical torture? It makes no sense, right? The video game is objectively harder. It requires more focus, faster reflexes, and creates way more frustration. Yet, you're addicted to the struggle. But the email, that easy, boring task, it triggers a full system shutdown. Most productivity gurus will tell you that you lack discipline, or worse, they tell you to just find your motivation. Nah, bro, that is garbage advice. Motivation is cheap fuel. It's like pouring sugar into a Ferrari. It burns hot for 5 minutes, and then you crash. If you are relying on motivation to get work done, you have already lost. The reason you can grind in a game but not in real life isn't because you're lazy. It's because your brain's reward system is wired backwards. You are running on a broken operating system. What if I told you that the specific feeling of pain you get when you try to work isn't a stop sign? It is actually the fuel source itself. Today, we aren't fixing your discipline. We are going to hotwire your dopamine receptors so you actually crave the struggle. Here is the lie that is ruining your life. You think you want comfort. You think the goal is to make enough money so you can sit around, do nothing, and be happy. But let's look at the biology. Take a lion, put him in a cage, give him free steaks every day. No hunting, no struggle, just a comfort. Does that lion look happy to you? No, that lion is depressed. That lion is in biological decay. Now, look at the lion in the wild. He hasn't eaten in 3 days. He's scratched up, he's exhausted, but he is fully alive. Your brain is the lion. When you avoid hard work, you are putting yourself in the cage. Dr. Andrew Huberman calls this resistance, limbic friction. It's that heavy, sticky feeling you get right before you start a hard task. It feels like gravity just doubled. Here is where average people lose. They feel limbic friction, that anxiety, that agitation, and they think, oh, something is wrong. I shouldn't do this right now. I'll wait until I feel like it. That is NPC behavior. That is how you stay in the simulation. The elite, the top 1%, they don't wait for the friction to go away. They treat limbic friction as the signal that the game has started. You need to understand, your brain is designed to conserve energy. That's evolutionary baggage from when we lived in caves and calories were scarce. But you don't live in a cave. You live in an abundance of calories and a deficit of drive. We need to flip the switch from energy conservation mode to predator mode. And to do that, we have to use some very specific neuroscience. Let's get technical for a second. There is a psychological concept called learned industriousness, coined by Robert Eisenberger. They did this experiment with rats. Group A got food just for existing. Group B had to work insanely hard, pressing heavy levers, solving puzzles just to get the same amount of food. When they presented both groups with a new, difficult challenge, guess what happened? The lazy rats quit instantly. But the hard-working rats? They didn't just work for the food. They started to enjoy the work itself. This is the key. Most of you are dopamine junkies, but you're getting your fix from the result. I finished the essay. Now I get a cookie. I went to the gym. Now I can scroll TikTok. That is weak. That creates a dependency on the reward. Learned industriousness rewires the anterior cingulate cortex. It teaches the brain to release dopamine in response to the friction itself. You can literally teach your physiology that friction equals pleasure. Right now, your wires are crossed. Your brain says, friction equals pain. The goal is, friction equals the high. We are going to short-circuit that wire. But before I give you the system, you need to understand the spiritual side of this, because science is only half the story. The Vedic sages knew this 3,000 years before we had fMRI machines. They didn't call it limbic friction. They called it Tapasya. In Sanskrit, tapas literally means heat. The philosophy is simple. Discipline generates heat. When you want to check your phone, but you don't, that creates heat. When you want to quit the set, but you do one more, that creates heat. When you want to sleep in, but you get up, heat. Most people run from the heat. They feel the burn of resistance, and they immediately cool it down with cheap distractions. They dissipate their power. But the masters, the samurai, the Spartans, the monks, they learned to times trap times the heat. They knew that if you sit in that fire, if you let that friction burn, it burns away the impurities of your character. It burns away the weakness. So, when you feel that I don't want to do this feeling, that isn't a problem. That is tapas. That is energy trying to leave your body. If you harness it, it becomes power. If you flee from it, it becomes shame. Here is exactly how to harness it. We are going to combine the neuroscience of Eisenberger with the philosophy of tapasya. This is the 3-step loop to make hard work addictive. Step 1. The friction call. You need to catch the amygdala hijack before it happens. The moment you sit down to work and feel that urge to grab your phone, or that sudden wave of sleepiness stop, say it out loud. Friction detected. You are objectifying the feeling. You aren't tired. You are feeling limbic friction. By naming it, you move activity from your emotional brain to your logical prefrontal cortex. You are spotting the heat. Tell yourself, good, the level has started. Step 2. The micro jackpot. This utilizes reward prediction error. Your brain expects the task to be miserable. You need to surprise it. Break the task down to something stupidly small. Not write the essay. Just open the laptop. When you do that tiny action, celebrate internally like you just won the lottery. Seriously. Fist pump. Feel it. You are hacking your dopamine pathways. You're giving your brain a hit of the good stuff right as you enter the pain. This creates a positive feedback loop. Your brain goes, wait, entering the fire feels good? Step 3. The times shugyo * sprint. Shugyo is the Japanese concept of severe, austere training. Commit to the 10-minute hell zone. Tell yourself, I don't have to finish this. I just have to suffer for 10 minutes. Here is the trick. The goal isn't the work. The goal is to see how much pain you can eat. You are gamifying the tolerance of friction. Usually, by minute 4, the Zeigarnik effect kicks in. Your brain hates leaving things unfinished, and you will naturally slip into a flow state, but you have to be willing to enter the hell zone first. Stop waiting for the work to feel good. Stop waiting for the stars to align. Motivation is for tourists. Friction is for the pros. You are not your past habits. You are not the person who clicks off when things get hard. You are the type of person who feels the heat and adds more wood to the fire. Here is your mission. For the next 24 hours, every time you feel that resistance, every time you want to quit, I want you to smile. Literally, smile. That is the tapasya. That is the dopamine rewiring happening in real time. If you are ready to stop being an NPC and enter predator mode, I want you to drop a lock emoji in the comments. I don't want your like. I want your commitment. I read every single one. Prove to me that you're actually going to do this. Now, close this video and go enter the fire.